Japan, a renowned nation in Asia, offers an exciting mix of modernity and tradition, drawing thousands of tourists every year. This developed country has a history of being defeated in World War II, a fact that has shaped its current path in many ways. On a trip to Japan, visitors can enjoy a variety of unique attractions, from tasting exceptional dishes to admiring the majesty of Mount Fuji. Other experiences include riding the ultra-fast bullet train and relaxing in onsen, the traditional Japanese hot springs. However, there are also some lesser-known aspects of Japan that might deter some potential visitors. It's important to do your homework before deciding to travel there. If you like the content and want to follow more about travel and cultures around the world, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. Watch until the end for more tips and trivia. Japanese culture, made popular worldwide through manga, anime, and TV dramas, attracts many foreigners who dream of living in Japan. However, settling down in the country can be more complicated than it seems, especially due to the size and difficulty of renting apartments. According to zonajapan.com, renting an apartment in Japan can be particularly challenging for foreigners. It's not uncommon for the available properties to fall short of the spacious and inviting spaces often depicted in the media. Interested renters usually need to find a reliable real estate agency, prove their income, secure a Japanese guarantor, and prepare a significant amount upfront to cover initial costs and various other requirements. On the other hand, as online.com reports, in large and bustling cities like Tokyo, the high cost of living and population density lead many people, especially those with fewer resources, to opt for extremely small apartments. This reality can be a shock for many who arrive with expectations based on the idealized portrayals in dramas and anime. In these cramped spaces called jijisima, in addition to the basic rent of about $600 a month, costs can add up with other housing necessities. Tenants often face additional fees like rental insurance, building maintenance fees, and possibly a security deposit, which is common in Japan. This deposit can be equivalent to several months' rent and is used to cover any potential damages to the apartment during the lease. Additionally, costs for basic utilities such as water and internet should also be considered, though the $600 monthly payment already includes electricity and heating. Living in metropolitan areas like Tokyo can involve significant transportation costs, given the frequent need to commute for work or study, adding another layer of expenses to the residents' monthly budget. Tourists often find themselves surprised by the size of food and drink portions in Japan, which are notably smaller than in many other countries. As highlighted by the website Republica.d, this difference is especially noticeable in restaurants, where beverages like water are served in limited quantities. Customers wanting more must request okawari, or a refill. This practice of serving smaller portions is deeply rooted in Japanese culture, where moderation and mindful consumption are valued. While it may be an initial shock for some foreigners, who might find it challenging to adjust to this norm, this characteristic has a significant positive impact on public health. Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates in the world, just 4.3%, a stark contrast to countries like the United States, where the rate is 36.2%. This approach to portion sizes is seen as a contributing factor to the overall better health of the population. Japan's approach to portion sizes not only reflects a cultural preference, but also stems from historical eating practices that emphasize quality over quantity. In addition to smaller portions, the presentation of dishes in Japanese restaurants is meticulously cared for, reinforcing the idea that eating is a holistic experience that involves taste, aesthetics, and moderation. These practices are supported by a concept called hara-hachi-bu, which suggests eating until you are 80% full to promote longevity. This philosophy may help explain the lower incidence of obesity in Japan, as well as lower rates of certain chronic diseases associated with diet. Furthermore, restaurants in Japan generally do not encourage food waste. Customers are encouraged to consume everything that is served, which also supports smaller portions. Although Japan is often idealized for its high salaries and quality public infrastructure, the country faces significant criticism regarding work conditions. Inspired by a classic scene from the movie Doraemon, where Nobita's father comes home exhausted after a long day at work, many employees in Japan experience a similar reality, marked by grueling workdays and late-night arrivals at home. This portrayal of labor effort is not an exception, but a norm that requires significant mental resilience from workers. The work environment in Japan is often described as monotonous and conservative, with a complexity that can be challenging. The expectation of a continuous career until about 60 years old dates back to the Showa era, which started in 1961, creating a tradition of job longevity that many find oppressive. Those who criticize the rigor of the Japanese work environment are often seen as weak and unable to demonstrate the loyalty and endurance valued culturally, which can make it difficult to seek new employment opportunities. Furthermore, it's common in Japan for employees to work many overtime hours, often without additional pay, and to feel guilty about taking advantage of basic rights such as paid leave. While this work culture may contribute to efficiency and dedication, it also raises significant concerns about the balance between personal and professional life and the well-being of workers. Japan, known for strengthening its economy through support for local products, is one of the world leaders in purchasing power. For those moving there, this means facing challenges when trying to buy foreign products, which may not be as readily available. Recent technologies, fashionable clothing, or international movies might take months or even years to reach Japan, and certain products popular in other countries may never be sold there. This is part of Japan's trade policy, which encourages both residents and visitors to prefer and value national products. So, don't be surprised if, while living in Japan, you find that your relatives abroad hear about new products before you do. In Japanese society, people from other countries often stand out due to the prevailing cultural and ethnic homogeneity. With about 98% of the population having similar physical characteristics, foreigners can feel quite visible. It's not uncommon for some locals to avoid sitting next to international visitors on public transport like trains and buses. This behavior can be perceived as unwelcoming, although it varies from person to person. In situations where public transport is crowded, the difference in appearance of foreigners becomes even more apparent. Additionally, there is a perception that single Japanese women may be more open to interactions with foreign men, reflecting a curiosity or interest in different cultural experiences. The presence and interaction of foreigners in Japan are marked by a mix of curiosity, reservation, and in some cases, a clear distinction in the way they are treated daily. Foreigners often stand out in finding single women, as they prefer to venture with different men. Despite its reputation as a powerhouse in advanced technology, Japan surprisingly still relies heavily on the use of paper, especially in administrative procedures. Foreign visitors often find themselves surprised to discover that many tasks, such as opening bank accounts, registering at the city hall, or even subscribing to internet services, require a significant amount of paper documentation. These documents typically need to be filled out in person or sent by mail, as they require signatures or official stamps. Moreover, the digitization process in Japan has not progressed as much as in other developed countries. Foreigners often face challenges when filling out forms, which seem not to be designed with the needs of non-natives in mind, further complicating integration and the completion of routine activities. In Japan, there's an interesting cultural curiosity. Many single women show a certain preference for foreigners who visit or move to the country. This trend can be attributed to a variety of factors. Culturally, interacting with people from different backgrounds is seen as an opportunity to expand horizons and exchange experiences. Additionally, the influence of global media and the idealization of international lifestyles also play a significant role. This attraction isn't just about novelty or exoticism. Often it's about seeking perspectives and interactions outside of what is traditionally expected in the Japanese social context. Foreigners may represent a break from monotony or the rigid norms of dating and relationships, offering new dynamics and possibilities. Therefore, this preference is a reflection of the complex interplays between culture, personal curiosity, and globalization, manifesting in the choices and personal preferences in the Japanese dating scene.